Lots of work remains as the Bengals drop their preseason opener to the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike Petraglia inside Lincoln Financial Field here in South Philly. The Bengals dropped their preseason opener for 2025 by a score of 34-27 to the defending Super Bowl champions. The Bengals looked great on offense, especially with Joe Burrow at the helm for the first two series. The defense, not so much. After the game, Zach Taylor said defensively they wanted to keep it pretty simple and that all of the failings that the Bengals had in allowing 34 points here on Thursday night was the result of team failures. He wasn't ready to pin it just on the defense or just on special teams or on just one player or two. He said it was team failures across the board that allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to take advantage of several Bengal mistakes here on Thursday night. But let's start with the good. Joe Burrow, after an incomplete pass in which he threw it behind T. Higgins over the middle to start the game, he completed his final 9 passing attempts on the night, including touchdown passes of 12 yards to Tanner Hudson and then a 36-yarder down the sideline to Jamar Chase. It was one of those classic Jamar Chase catches a 5-yard out, as Orlando Brown Jr. said, and spins down the sideline to pay dirt. It was the exact same route, according to Zach Taylor after the game, that Jamar Chase ran in for the game-winning score last season against the Dallas Cowboys on that Monday night game that started the season-ending 5-game winning streak. Very same route, and Jamar Chase ran it to perfection with Joe Burrow here tonight. Burrow finishes 9 of 10, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 157.5, near perfect for Joe Burrow. That's not how Joe Burrow viewed it after the game. He said he was just average. And asked why he called it just average, he said, well, I missed that pass to T. Higgins over the middle. He threw it behind him. And so Joe Burrow being pretty hard on himself after this game. Also, Joe Burrow saying that the Bengals can play a lot more consistently all around. But overall, he was pleased with the points that they were able to put up. Bengals led this game 14-7 late in the first quarter. Also of note in the Bengals offense tonight was the performance of running back Chase Brown. He had a few good eye-popping runs that set the Bengals up on second and short instead of second and long. I asked Joe Burrow about that after the game, and he said, yeah, there's no question that that's going to be a point of emphasis this year. Get teams defending us in second and short, third and very short, and we're going to have the opportunity to have many more plays at our disposal. And you've got to think, if that's the case, then Joe Burrow can throw out into the flat to Jamar Chase, and he can turn a 5-yard first down pass into a touchdown or at least a big gainer many more times during the regular season. So the Bengals offense more than ready, it appears anyway, to be ready to start the season September 7th in Cleveland. Of course, there are 2 more preseason games, August 18th against the Washington Commanders on Monday night, and then 5 days later they play their only home preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts. But the offense looked ready, the defense not as much. They allowed a couple of big gashing runs, one to Will Shipley of 38 yards that allowed the Eagles to march down the first time they had it against the Bengals' first-team defense and go in for the score. Now it's important to note that the Bengals did not have 5 regulars available in this game. Trey Hendrickson and B.J. Hill on the defensive line. They didn't have, obviously, Cam Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill, or Marco Wilson in the secondary, and also Cedric Johnson did not dress for this game. So there were a lot of players not available, and Zach Taylor, again, made a point of it after the game to say we weren't about to show anything unique or anything special or extravagant in this game defensively. We were going with a pretty vanilla game plan defensively, and that could be part of the reason why the Bengals were not in position to make big plays, play in and play out here on Thursday night. One player that did pop out defensively for the Bengals, Shamar Stewart, the rookie out of Texas A&M. We asked him after the game how he felt in his first game, and he said actually felt pretty good. considering it was my first game, considering I was a rookie, I felt like I was in position to make most of the plays. And he said I was even surprised at the stamina that I had on the field. He certainly showed that stamina a couple of times, including one eye-popping play when he tackled A.J. Dillon for a 3-yard loss in the backfield. After that play, he got up and he was kind of rubbing his right shoulder. He dinged him pretty good, but he eventually got back into the game, and nothing serious in terms of injury to Shamar Stewart there. Also, Demetrius Knight Jr., he had a solid game. He said after the game that he felt pretty good about his first preseason action. Again, yes, there are plenty of things that the Bengals will have to improve upon, like being in position to make the tackle and not giving up so much open space. A rough night for DJ Ivey. He committed an offsides on special teams that allowed the Eagles to march down and put 3 points on the board after they had earlier missed a field goal. DJ Ivey also allowed a touchdown at the end of the first half. That after the Bengals special teams unit permitted the Eagles to return a punt some 38 yards deep into Bengals territory. So there's a lot to work on for the Bengals as they look into next week. It'll be a long week of practice because they don't play for another 10 days, actually 11 days, August 18th in Washington against the Commanders. We'll have complete reaction from the locker room and, of course, reaction from Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow on the Jungle Roar Pod YouTube page, youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Be sure to go to CLNSCincy with a Y.com. My complete recap and analysis is up there right now. And also, as always, follow me on the X @Trags, TRAGS. Again, the final score here on Thursday night in the preseason opener. The Bengals fall to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 34-27. Inside Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.